Everyone believed these bottles held salvation. They were profoundly, tragically mistaken. In the sprawling, chaotic landscape of 19th-century America and Europe, where medical science was still in its infancy, a different kind of healer emerged. Not the trained physician, but the charismatic peddler hawking elixirs that promised everything from eternal youth to a cure for consumption. This was the golden age of patent medicine. Without regulatory oversight and fueled by a public desperate for relief from chronic ailments, these miracle cures weren't merely ineffective, they were often dangerous. They exploited a vacuum of knowledge, a profound trust, and the very human desire for a quick fix. The mechanics of this deception were intricate, preying on fundamental human vulnerabilities. From Dr. Pierce's golden medical discovery to Lydia E. Pinkham's vegetable compound, these products became household names, their promises echoing across continents. Consider the common ingredients. Many patent medicines were little more than alcohol and opium, perhaps a dash of cannabis or cocaine. The cure was often simply the temporary oblivion these potent substances offered, masking symptoms rather than addressing causes. The patient felt better for a time, and the cycle of dependency began. Take, for instance, Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup, a popular remedy for teething babies. Its primary active ingredient, morphine. A parent, desperate to calm a screaming infant, would administer the syrup, finding temporary peace. The long-term consequences, however, were devastating, including addiction and even death. The advertising campaigns for these products were masterpieces of early marketing. They weren't just selling medicine, they were selling hope, trust, and a return to health. Testimonials, often fabricated, filled newspapers and almanacs, depicting miraculous recoveries. One particularly pervasive tactic was the traveling medicine show. A charismatic showman, often dressed in outlandish attire, would roll into town, offering entertainment, music, magic tricks, comedic sketches, all culminating in the grand reveal of his miraculous elixir. The psychological allure was undeniable. In a world fraught with disease and limited access to legitimate medical care, the showman offered not just a cure, but an experience. He provided distraction, entertainment, and a glimmer of hope in an otherwise grim existence. These shows weren't merely about selling bottles. They were about building a narrative, crafting an identity. The showman himself often claimed to be a doctor, a professor, or even a direct descendant of ancient healers, lending an air of authority to his dubious claims. The financial incentives were astronomical. With minimal production costs and often highly addictive ingredients, these patent medicines generated fortunes. Families like the Warners, makers of Warner's Safe Kidney and Liver Cure, amassed vast wealth. The sheer volume of products on the market was staggering. Every ailment, real or imagined, had a cure. From consumption cure for tuberculosis to female tonics for nervousness and hysteria, the shelves of general stores overflowed with bottled promises. The regulatory landscape was virtually non-existent. There were no requirements for proving efficacy, no mandatory ingredient lists, and no oversight on advertising claims. It was truly the Wild West of medicine, where caveat emptor was the only law. But a backlash was slowly brewing. Investigative journalists, often dubbed muckrakers, began to expose the dangers and deceptions. Samuel Hopkins Adams's 1905 series, The Great American Fraud, published in Collier's Weekly, was particularly influential. Adams meticulously detailed the fraudulent claims and harmful ingredients, revealing the devastating impact on public health. His work, alongside that of others, ignited public outrage and catalyzed a movement for reform. The tide truly began to turn with the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906 in the United States. This landmark legislation, though initially limited, mandated accurate labeling of ingredients and prohibited false therapeutic claims. It was a monumental step, but the battle was far from over. Quackery, in various forms, has proven remarkably resilient. The human desire for a simple solution to complex problems remains a potent vulnerability. The legacy of the patent medicine era serves as a stark reminder. It highlights the critical importance of scientific rigor, transparent regulation, and an informed public. Without these safeguards, the line between healing and exploitation blurs. The elaborate mechanisms of deception, the sophisticated advertising, the exploitation of trust, these are patterns that echo even in contemporary scams. The tools may change, but the underlying psychology remains constant. From the traveling medicine show to today's online wellness influencers pushing unproven supplements, the allure of the miracle cure persists. It taps into our deepest fears and our most fervent hopes. Understanding this period isn't merely an academic exercise. It's a crucial lesson in critical thinking, in questioning authority, and in discerning genuine expertise from manipulative salesmanship. The stakes are, and always have been, our health and our collective well-being. The miracle cures of the 19th century weren't miracles at all. They were a testament to human desperation, unchecked greed, and the nascent stages of consumer protection. They remind us that vigilance is a timeless virtue. Explore how modern scam artists continue to exploit these very same psychological triggers in our next deep dive into digital deception.